backstage.
Yeah, nigga. Fake ass nigga.
You ain't no Israelite, bitch, you a gospelite, bitch.
Fuck you talking about? Hey,
If that nigga won't walk, bitch, we ready. It ain't hard to find us. Hawk, I keep that stick locked, loaded, boy, he'll fade just line up. Young nigga named Slayer, what you think, boy, you be done to try. Soft cold shit, we bout it. UPK, shoot solid, little bitch think I'm crazy, think I'm playing like bitch, I ain't the one. Warfare every day, so who is you, bitch? I don't need your love. Killers right round the way, what you think? I love this brotherhood, hood. More than you, bitch. Sharp on shit, I'm bout it. UPK too solid. Fuck nigga don't want war. It ain't enough clips in your army. All the bitches wanna take my piece. All they hoes wanna take my piece. All the nigga wanna take my piece. No, I can't let a dog take it from me. I can't let a dog take it from me. You a hoe study and you dummy. And these bitches really out this bitch walking around like they don't know nothing. And a lame nigga fall for them and get set up for the coins and get gunned down, man down. Shoulda took the time, get a damn no. But I see the starter and I show her. She could never get a priest holding. You a dirt ass, rust ass neck bitch with a fake ass jury. In Tennessee while I'm touring. It's a Tennessee, but she luring. And a sucker duck bitch ass boy, fuck nigga over that bitch muggin'. I say, if that nigga won't walk, bitch, we ready. It ain't hard to find us. Hawk, I keep that stick locked, loaded, boy, he'll fade just line up. Young nigga named Slayer, what you think, boy, you be done to try. Soft cold shit, we bout it. UPK too solid, little bitch think I'm crazy, think I'm playing like bitch, I ain't the one. Warfare every day, so who is you, bitch? I don't need your love. Killers right round the way, what you think? I love this brotherhood, hood. More than you, bitch. You a lame nigga down to me. Eat candy, but I'm sucker free. You a little nigga, ain't none of me. Base up, boy, I fit a beat. Yeah, AR-223. Draco with a magazine. Yeah, that clip run like limousine. I shoot your ass in the spleen. Boy, I bust your ass in the temple. We debating by the temple. Tell the truth, boy, you's a victim. And you scoring off like a lizard. Nigga walk down my road. Why does nigga come down my road? Boy, come down my road. Boy, I charge your ass toll fee. I'm a real big priest, nigga. UPK play for keys, nigga. Commanding general get a damn order, but ain't nothing me to damn kill you. I was talking his ass like a cat. All weapons, boys full of tech. Boy, like a close comeback. Nigga got popped off for a neck. If that nigga won't walk, bitch, we ready. It ain't hard to find us. Hawk, I keep that stick locked, loaded, boy, he'll fade just line up. Young nigga named Slayer, what you think, boy, you be done to try. Soft cold shit, we bout it. UPK too solid, little bitch think I'm crazy, think I'm playing like bitch, I ain't the one. Warfare every day, so who is you, bitch? I don't need your love. Killers right round the way, what you think? I love this brotherhood, hood. More than you, bitch.
Christ said 7 we gonna be on one nigga in the end time, nigga. Fuck wrong.
Back roll.
Yeah, that's light shit. Send my bro a kite quick. Times of war, we ain't forget about you. Keep your light lit. Rappers can't see. Most of them scared to witness. Go and close your eyes. There's one right here for the trenches. Bad bitches, natural hair or extensions. Hood niggas that'll probably grip like some dentures. Brothers on them fences. 23 and 1 out. Praying that commissary hit before it run out. Bitches on the gram, dog filter with their tongue out. Couldn't stay home because they found the dugout. Closed casket, burner in the low jacket. My co-captain, riding on these whole rappers. My hoes fabulous. Now I don't mean that derogatory, but I'm a player and there's no my women riding for me. I avoided Maury. I got 2 jets. If I can't make it through for them, then I'm useless. Sit down that roof, Chris, with a couple bosses. After the war, just to count our losses. It's not many. You see a smile on my face, but I'm not friendly. Going on my waist, sipping white Henny. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Waiting on the squab in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. it's like a tsunami. I went from 0 to 100, feeling like Ricky Bobby. I made a deal with the Reaper. Got a couple wives, they some keepers. Talk a lot of shit, but you can't walk a mile in my sneakers. Bitches go to Miami, come home with change features. Now she got a BBL, her ass fatter. Trying to show up all them niggas that laughed at her. Now when they see her, they only wanna fuck her. They just wanna touch her, they don't wanna cuff her. They just wanna come and kick it with her like a punter. Turned her to a runner, now it's all aboard the train. Fenty on her face, but it's not concealing the pain, it's a shame. That's why I'm in the hood like some rap snacks. I know niggas kill you and your mama for a scat pack. Dark tech, matte black, they do it for half that. Had you like 90s Missy in a fucking trash bag. I'm from Philly, we don't do bank accounts, just cash app. I spit a verse and I just watch the time slow. This that guy flow, this that shit that rappers die for. That's that uncut Taha Wall straight from Pablo Escobar. I be at the bar like Moscato. They think it's effort, but no, this that block work. Make the countermeasures, take pleasures making an op hurt. Light is in the sky, cause every verse is a concert. My mind work at speed jump can't fathom. Listen to the words of a champion. It can't, the streets need another anthem. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart grip my bow tie. Waiting on the swerve in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know life. Gotta got my heart grip my bow tie. Living in the swerve in my whole life. My whole life.
They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my taxes. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right. That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacles set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, saved facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe this slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting, the trail of my tears is countless. Main fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Cracking the sky, nuclear missiles and make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be, slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cage and safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash, get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog.
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood slim. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember your Honda's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in this body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is served cold, I just hope they making oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in the world of mad shooters. That was designed foul for our babies to pass through it. And the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
Someday you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
All right, Shalom Israel. It's the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. You know, practical meaning like an idea, method, or something successful, you know, likely to succeed. So we the Israelite School of UPK, we're not affiliated with any other dogma or doctrine or Christianity or Scientology and Old Testament or just New Testament. We Israelite School of UPK, we accept the entire Bible. And if you're not under the commanding honor of the UPK, you're not authorized to teach this Bible. You're not in the truth. So with that being said, first let me go ahead and make sure all the social medias are up and running. Let me get TikTok up and running. All right, Shalom TikTok, we up and running. We are now live. And I had to kind of reword things for TikTok's sake. But the spirit of this class is how can Israelites save his children, primarily from molestation. I'm not sure if y'all heard there's been some stuff going on about like with the Dalai Lama. It's starting to like gain a little steam, but a lot of people is not aware of that. Salaki. And I got just a couple articles, just a couple scriptures to go over about what happens. Like what's the Bible stance about molesting small children or sexualizing small children. All right, so we're gonna get into like what the Bible says. We'll get into like a couple articles about what happened as it pertains to the Dalai Lama cat. As far as like him and his doctrine of philosophy, I ain't looked into much about him, but I knew that he was considered like a leader amongst his people. And for the fact that you would want for a small child or to tell a small child to stick out their tongue, you know, like what apology could you possibly give? It's not like you walking by and you accidentally trample over a child. That's an apology. That's how can you deliberately tell a child to stick out their tongue so you can I don't know if I can say that on with TikTok or social media, but to lick their tongue or to kiss their tongue or suck on their tongue, there is no apology. Like there should be an outrage. There is no outrage for children. Now, granted, it's of another race, and it's unfortunate that the societies pick and choose when they want to come down hard on those who like to sleep with minors or underage. Like America, she's quick to put her nose in everyone else's business, especially when it involves like war or politics, so forth and so on, or sexual preference, sexual ideologies. She's quick to put a nose in that, but when it comes down to molestation of small children, she remains docile. She remains silent. So we here to teach our people, like, we have to be unified in a solid stance against those who tend to want to harm our babies or tend to want to exploit the innocent, or take advantage of the young and then not knowing. Like, we have to extend that extra shield of protection to, like, protect our children. Because if we don't protect our children, who will? It's not going to be religious leaders. You can't look to the government. You can't look to, really quiet as kept, you really can't even look to your family members. We got family members who are taking advantage of our children, taking advantage of our babies. So you can't get enough protection from school. It's whose fault? Is it the whites' fault? Far as like child molestation, they play a role. I can't definitively say that it's all his role, because you got so many different other groups of people, cultures of people who does it is considered normalized. So I cannot give him credit for bringing that into the earth. I can look into it, but I will say this, that I will say the part he does play. The part he plays is when he chooses to vilify those who does those type of actions. That's his fault. When he chooses to ignore, or when he chooses to give like a harsh penalty, when he chooses like to excommunicate with someone. Yeah, so that's why that's a question. Someone asked a question on TikTok: is it the whites' fault about child molestation amongst children of Israel? All right. So with that being said, I just got just a few scriptures, and I got a couple articles that came out about the Dalai Lama himself. So in just a few moments, I'm going to turn over the screen to the TV as we prepare to read some of this article, so that way you can get like a perspective about what actually happened. Because if y'all did not know, it is something disgusting. It is it's very hard to watch. If your stomach does not turn, then you might be part of the problem. All right. All right. Shalom on Christ. I got you, Hebrew. Yeah, so we'll be discussing because a lot of times people tend to think that what does molestation come from? Molestation comes from different cultures that have different gods they sacrifice to. Some gods make a sacrifice to. Sometimes they take children, they take children's hearts, or they sacrifice them to a fire, or they sacrifice them to get another winter. There's several different variations of sacrifices that different cultures of people that make to please such said God that they serve. But in this case, we're going to talk about just the action of it. Maybe in the next class, I'll dive into a little bit more about the gods, as in plural, the God of this, the God of that. God, I mean, it's over 1,000 different gods. It might take me 3 years to teach all these different gods. So I might just bundle several different ones amongst the different cultures. I might take a god of fertility. They got similar names, one from the Romans, one from the Greeks. Then I find one Egyptian, one East Indian, so forth and so on. But as far as all the gods and stuff, it's lucky. So that's what we'll get into. Let's check some of these questions. Jesus loves the. Hey, yo, also feel free to y'all feel free to answer some of these comments if I missed something, all right? Or if I missed something, just if I missed something, just retweet it. Or repost a comment from me, all right, Baba Kashab. All right, so Salaki. All right, so yeah, Christ loves his people. Yeah, that's who Christ loved. Christ loved the 12 tribes of the house of Israel, and nobody else. All right, he only loves the Jews, the Israelites. All right, so as we go on with the class, so I'm going to start off with an article. All right, and in this article, I'm going to read. No, I'm not going to do the French report just yet. I got several different Deuteronomy 17 says God is all right. That's it, Hebrew. God loves his own people. The Dalai Lama. All right, so real quick, put in the chat if anybody know who the Dalai Lama is. Because I ain't gonna lie to you. When I heard about this, I'm like, what is this, the Shaolin Temple? What is this all about, the Dalai Lama? Why should I care about this guy? What does it have to do with Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nations in America? So why would we even care? Also, if you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, make sure y'all share the class and most definitely get them likes up. All right, get them likes up. Hey, bro, have you checked your DNA? For this Becky guy, matter of fact, I'm gonna teach a class about the DNA stuff. A lot of times when y'all see that so-called black expansion in America, when we say that we are the Israelites or the Jews according to the Bible, one of y'all quick question is to try to ask a question about DNA. When it came to the Ashkenazi or the Europeans Jewish community, no one asked them for their DNA. Nobody. No one asked them to do a DNA test. No one asked them to prove it biblically according to the Bible. So, yeah, I'll do a class on that. I could just play a 60-second video about on 60 Minutes, you know, and how they debunked the whole DNA test less than a minute. Or I can bring out several different articles to show how there's two twins, same mother and father, took a DNA test and got back different results. So, as far as with the ancestry stuff, you know, we don't get down like that, all right? So, all right, so let's get into it. So, the Dalai Lama. I'm gonna turn this over. Hopefully, y'all can see it. Let me go to this video. See like slack y'all 1 second, Israel. Why? I'm trying to find this video for y'all. All right, let me turn this video over real quick. Let me just make sure it's showing. Slovakia. I gotta show y'all this video. All right, so it's gonna be kind of hard to read. All right, so I just start off with reading this article. All right. All right, so the article says, I don't know if y'all can see that. Nah, that ain't gonna work. All right, so TikTok, y'all just have to bear with me. I'll read it out loud. All right, it says, this is according to an article by USA Today. And it says, suck my tongue. Dalai Lama lambasted after video shows him kiss young boy on the lips. It says the Dalai Lama is the spiritual head of the Tibetan community. He apologized Monday after the bizarre video of him kissing a young Indian boy on the lips and asking him to suck his tongue went viral. The footage took place during a public event in India. He sparked a widespread criticism with child rights groups as well as social media ushers calling the move inappropriate and calling for the 87-year-old monk of Buddhism removal. So, just right there, it's talking about a removal. So this man out here asking children for kisses, pecks on the lip. That's what they out there doing. They out there asking for pecks on the lip, and they think it's cool. They think it's accepted. This is to ask for him to be removed. How about you ask for that man to pay up? Ask for him and his whole entire temple. Ask for them to, you know, be banded, be barred. Like, how about they all be vilified? And anybody that supports his community, they should be vilified as well. Like, they should be boycotted. You understand? I just want to, in the next article I'm going to bring out, I'm going to show the hypocrisy about the child's right activist groups, because how they choose to look at certain crimes, how they choose to pay attention to certain crimes when it suits them, when it fits them. All right. All right. So the water for that officer. I got any questions? Tyrese Smithers, what's your question about Isaiah 56, 6-7? All right. Good job, Priest. All right. You know. All right, cool. All right, so anyway, so with the Dalai Lama, like, could you imagine like how sick you have to be to want to kiss a small child? Like, what rational excuse could you give that the people would believe or they could accept? Nobody I know would be like, yeah, you know what? They said it's okay for you to kiss that small boy and ask for him to suck on your tongue, and you can give him, oh, I apologize. Now it'll be an uproar like that right there. It should be the sexual act, the crime against them. And I'm curious to know what laws India have against sleeping with small children or touching small children. But it appears that this Buddha or Tibetan or whatever, I'm saying it with the most amount of disrespect possible. I'm saying it to not even respect this man, this 87-year-old man who liked to molest children. I'm saying it with the most disrespect possible. How can he get away with this? Like, and the reason why this is relevant today because there has been crimes committed against the Lord's chosen people, as far as like with molestation, and it turns into like certain communities of people, and it creates certain traumas and behaviors that we see amongst our people today, and we need to address it now. People need to understand the Bible stance about child molestation. People need to understand about how does the Bible feel. Like, is it lawful? Is it something that we're going to do? The supreme scientist. The question is, if God's will was for slavery to occur, why would he punish the white for doing his will? All right. So, y'all pull up the scripture for when the Most High said they went too far. When he said he put us into the hand of our enemies, but like he went too far. It should be in the New Testament, I believe. If you could just search it in for me, just put it in and I'll break it down for this supreme science, cat. If you could, Baba Kashab. Well, I look it up. I help look it up myself. But just to paraphrase it, till I also pull up that scripture for me. The Most High, our oppressors, as in the white in them, they were supposed to be looking like a whipping stick. You know what I'm saying? Like a punishment fact, you know, something to discipline. But the scripture says that once he put us into the hands of our enemies, they went too far. Like, they took our name, they took our culture, they took our language, and they started to molest us. They started to do what they call breaking the buck. So when they did that, they went too far. And it made us like chattel slavery. So that was not the intent. So when you talk about what God put us in the hands to do of another race, those were intentions. Those are certain criteria. Those are certain things that are supposed to be done. Of the water, Isaiah 47:6. Okay, if you could give me offenses to come. I believe that's when Christ said, "But woe to those who bring the offenses." It says, well, yeah, let's give me one Christ said in the New Testament, so we can just bring it home for whoever it is we're dealing with. Isaiah 46:7. 46:7. Let me see, this book Isaiah chapter 47 verse 6. It says, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy upon the ancient, as thou have verily laid thy yoke. Verse 7, it says, thou saidst, I shall be a lady forever, that thou did not lay these hands to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter of it. It basically says that, throw out a priest. Basically what it says is like, y'all showed us no mercy. And throughout your history, you can see that we was raped. You can see that we was molested. You can see what our language was taken from us. Our identity was taken from us. Now someone else claims our identity. So when we come back to take it back, we got to hear from idiots saying like, you need a DNA test when they didn't require it from other people. So we are the ones who are going to come back to take back our culture. We want to take back our God. Meaning, like, we're going to follow these law, statutes, and commandments. We're not going to go out to harm or do anything to anybody, but we are the ones who are going to serve the Most High. So, in Isaiah, the reason why we were angry, or the Most High is angry, is because y'all showed us no mercy. And do we have to go through the translated slave trade? Do we have to go through the Saharian slave trade? Do we have to go through just blacks, Hispanics, and Americans living in America? I mean, we can go so forth and so on with just all the crimes committed just on this side of the earth. All right. Now, for those of you who don't know, let's just say, y'all did this to it, but y'all showed us some mercy. Well, Christ got an answer for that. This is the book of Luke, the 17th chapter, verse 1. Then said unto the disciples, it is impossible that offenses will come. Christ is telling them, like, hey, like, offenses are going to come to the children of Israel. You cannot stop it. We broke the law, statutes, commandments. These offenses are going to come. All right. But woe, for those who don't know, woe means destruction. All right. But destruction unto him through whom they come. So Christ says the offense is going to come to you, Israel. They're going to come to you. Like, these curses and these punishments are going to come to you. But the man that brings you that punishment or that through these curses, these offenses, destruction is going to come to him. And who have brought these offenses to? The Lord's chosen people? We all know there's one main race on the planet Earth, and it is our oppressors. All right. So that's what Christ said. Like, woe is going to come to him. All right. What about the 2 Corinthians chapter 3? What's your question about 2 Corinthians chapter 3? All right. Also, when he put it in, answer this question, because Baba Kashar and not get back to the subject of the class. All right, throw out for the two priests. All right, so now we're finna get into, well, since he mentioned Corinthians, why don't you go to Corinthians, 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 8. Since you like Corinthians, we're gonna get on into Corinthians and stay on the subject of the class about molestation, how to protect our kids. For this, the supreme scientist. Let me ask you a question. Do you have any kids? Let me help you understand. To the supreme scientist, if you could answer this question, do you have any kids? All right. And I answer your question about, did God know what would happen to us during slavery? I look good in this, man. This is good drip. People don't like my necklace. Sorry. So while he's typing in his answer, I'm trying to help him understand about knowing what will and won't happen. All right, so back to the spirit of the class. We're going to get into the book of 1 Corinthians, the 10th chapter. Let's see, 10 and 8. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 8. Go to my notes. All right. So what we're going to go into like the spirit about how to maintain the Lord's protection. Like, getting this protection, like, we can protect ourselves from like crimes and wicked ideologies and doctrines and philosophies and behaviors. All right. So we're here to show our people that we're going to show our people that you can come about the hellhole by just simply keeping to the law, statutes, and commandments. Everything you see, if the scripture does not say you can do it, you should not do it. You know, if it says it breaks the law, it breaks the law. It's just not. There's no way around that. All right. So with the Dalai Lama, I'm gonna go back to just reading a little bit more on this article. All right, Baba Kashar. And I played the video. It's very disturbing. I really don't think I want to play it, but Let me finish reading on this article. It says the incident took place on February 28th at the Dalai Lama's temple in Dharamshala, the BBC reported. Video shows Nobel Peace Prize winner. This filthy piece of garbage has a Nobel Peace Prize. This child molesting filthy piece of garbage, this sicko, has a Nobel Peace Prize. Shows you that either, like, here's another thing. I don't, as of today, now I haven't looked that much into it, but I don't recall the committee of the Nobel Peace Prize people saying they are ashamed of this man and they want to rescind that prize and take it back from him. It's crazy how, like, back in the day, you can be in college and you might accept some money and you win like a Heisman Trophy, and they found out you took money years later or a decade later, they'll come back and take a trophy from you. And it's just some sports. It happened to Reggie Bush. So with this filthy piece of garbage, this man up here molesting his own kinsman, his own race, and kissing small children. All right. So I'm finna finish reading this, and I gotta call Cap on the Nobel Peace Prize committee. I'm not sure if that's the right term they go by, but we ain't heard no outroar about them saying, hey, let's take back this prize. We ain't hear no outcry about them wanting to dismantle what's going on. All right. All right, so it says, while holding the boy's hand, the Dalai Lama points to his mouth and kisses the boy on the lips. People in the background are then heard clapping and laughing. So that's why I got to call out the people of that community, the people of the Dalai Lamas and his, whatever he call his followers, who knows? We'll call them pellets, zealots or whatever. I don't know what the hell they call themselves. They don't even get this is all the recognition they're gonna get. It says they'll sing her clapping and laughing. Now, how can we tie this into today? Do not think that for a shadow of a doubt that this does not happen to our people. Like we hear it for time and time again, like of our religious leaders touching our children, our religious leaders mistreating our children, so forth and so on. Like it's always here, like in the Christian church, living in the Muslim mosque, in the synagogues, in the Boys and Girls Club, daycare, after school, cheerleading practice, football practice, basketball practice, hockey practice, whatever sports we're playing, whatever events we've been, house parties, slumber parties. I mean, it keeps going. It keeps going. When you're out of school for a break, like our children are constantly being attacked by one oppressor to one monster, from one monster to another dragon, from another dragon to another vicious, evil soul. Like we always, every time we turn around, you got something wants to not only attack us, but attack our children. And if we don't understand how to defend or prepare for it in such an attack, our children will always be attacked and we will always be losing our children. Because the fact is that he kissed a small boy, an 87-year-old man. And for those who might try to justify it, it's not acceptable if that was his grandchild or great-grandchild. You understand? It's not acceptable. You understand? Why is you telling a child to suck on your tongue? No, you should not be doing that. And for those of them who are clapping and laughing, like they are the ones who are sick. Like they are the ones who's going to continue this type of molestation in the earth. They're going to be the ones who are going to continue to, I'm not sure how the Dalai Lama is appointed and get into office, not even call it office, but become the leader of his temple, is defeat the purpose to even mention about. But the point is, like they condone that. And then they are over here, they condone it as well. It's called the Shield of David, all right? All right, Shield of David. All right, so lock it. Now, back to the topic. some water for that, priest. You know, just tell them what a ball of gas is, a comet. You know what I'm saying? A star they see at night. You know, every king has a signet, and this is the signet of King David, which became the representation of Israel. All right. And for the Becky 902, like, you don't say this to the Europeans, the Ashkenazi Jew. Like, you don't go to them and say, hey, you got on the Star of David. Like, you don't say that. You just take it. They say Star of David, and you take it to be a representation of Jewish community or Israel or Israeli, and you take it and you be fine with it. But the moment someone who does not look like them, when we say that we are the Israelites, you say it's the Star of David, it's to challenge us or to question us or to imply or refer that we are lying about who we say we are. All right? And every other race is a controversy to the Lord's chosen people. Now, all right? And then the reason why, I don't know for this grit who says call us a culture virtue, are you saying someone else is a culture virtue or we are? If that's what they're saying, priest, then I agree that the white is the biggest culture vulture. You know what I'm saying? The white tea. Salaki. All right, so we're gonna get back into it. So in this article, in all seriousness, we gotta understand that, like, when you have people who agree, far as, so if you are the Ashkenazi, why is it that you don't say it to yourselves like that's the Star of David? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is called the shield to be accurate. All right, this is King David's signet. It became a representation of Israel. Like, every king has their signet. So when you saw this right here, this shield of David, and on the flag, you knew that the Jews was coming, the Israelites was coming, and the Latinos are part of the 12 tribes. For the just give the officer a chance, and he'll put it in the chat for you. All right. There you go. If you could, officer, answer the Neuro Roman question about Latinos, if you could, Barbara Kashar. All right. Just scroll up and ask about the Latinos being part of the 12 tribes. All right, if you could, Barbara Kashar. While I get back to these scriptures and back to the topic of the class, the spirit of the class. So when you have a culture of people who last and think it's okay to we talk about Salaki. When you talk about culture of people who last and stuff like that, it just shows you like how accepted it is about molestation of small children. It shows you how accepting they are to not protecting their children. And if we don't guard ourselves up, they can bring the nonsense over here. And it is over here. There's commercials about drag queens wanting to educate children. My point is, why is there a target for children? You understand? So we have to learn how to protect our children, and we're going to get into like what the scripture says. So first we're going to go to 1 Corinthians, the 10th chapter, verse 8. It says, "For though I should boast somewhat more of our authority, which the Lord has given us for edification, and not for your destruction, I should not be ashamed." So like when the Lord put down laws and he tells the do's and don'ts, it is for our edification. It is not for us to be like, hey, we have to follow these certain rules. Why are we ashamed? Or why is it that other races of people can do what they want and they not suffer the same type of consequences as it appears today? No, we have things put in place for edification purposes. All right. We do not do what other races of people do. We don't do what the strangers do, or the Gentiles, or the heathens, or any other byword they come up with. All right. All right, Salaki. All right, so we're gonna go to Yeah, for the Becky 902, I'm not sure if you know, but you can look it up on YouTube. It's like drag queens go to school or come down to kids, and they got like little kids. I'm talking about they're like 5 or 6 year old. Let's sit on each side. And they're like, oh, look at you. I see your mustache. I guess it's some type of push to make children understand the drag queen life of the LGBTQIA plus community. So my question to them is, why is your target audience now small children? Like, why are you going past the adults to try to teach their children about your alternative lifestyle or your modified pronouns, and maybe that's what they call it these days? Who knows? I mean, for the life of me, I want to understand is, why do you feel it's necessary that my 5-year-old must know about your lifestyle? Because your lifestyle is a lifestyle of an adult, and you are active physically. Like, why does a small child need to know about that? So now we have to learn how to protect our children, because it happens here in America. Yeah, so it is very disgusting, and you would think that they would try to hide it. No, it's very blank. It's out in the open, and all they want to do is tell us what they're going to do. There's going to be no pushback. There's going to be no outrage, no uproar. There's going to be no fighting, no boycotting, no cancel culture. Like, no one's going to get canceled. All right. And you may, for the Becky 90210, you might be one of the rare few that's against it. You understand? But like the vast majority of what's going on in America is not against it. Joe Biden's pro for it. Barack Obama's pro for it. Who's the vice president? Kamala Harris, she's pro for it. Because if they were against it, there should be an uproar. It should be like, hey, you're 40 years of age, you're 25 years of age. Why do you want to dress up provocative and you want children to know about your alternative lifestyle? There's no outrage. You understand? So we have to come together to protect our children. We have to protect our children from things that goes against like our doctrine, our way of life, our do's and don'ts. All right? And if you follow the Bible, let's say you didn't follow the Bible, right? Some people who are atheists, they still want to protect their children away from certain monsters. They'll say like, hey, this is a child. They should not be knowing anything about this right now. They're entirely too young. Like, it should be up to the parents when they want their children to learn about procreation. There's like a certain time frame where like a kid's mind can only take so much or what they should know. Like, if you notice, like, kids do not learn nothing about like finances. Don't learning about how to buy a house, like assets and liabilities. Like, they can learn it at 5. Like, they don't even know how to survive on their own yet. They don't know nothing about paying bills. They don't know nothing about how to take care of themselves, like how to feed themselves every day and how to go out and buy food and so forth and so on. But you want to teach them something about relations and about changing their gender and gender modification and different pronouns and stuff like that. No, we have to stand up for like what's right for our children. Like, we got to tell them like, no, this is unacceptable. Like, we cannot get down like this. And like, I'm keeping going in the scriptures to show how the Bible is against this. And I'm going to go into briefly about some cultures. They used to sacrifice children to like their gods that they believe in. But with the Dalai Lama or with the drag queens or with kids and the LGBTQIA plus community and the NAMBLA, I think it's called NAMBLA, the North American Association for Man and Boy Love. That's another one. Based out in Canada. These are grown men. I got old YouTube videos on it. These are grown men saying how they love to sleep with small boys, and there's no uproar. So we have to understand, like, there isn't a vicious attack on our children nowadays, which I didn't notice it growing up. right? But there are so many videos about Disney, how they used to put so many sexual things in there. Now, one person might say like you got like a dirty mind to even think that way, but now it's kind of like it's something sexual in like every Disney movie or TV show that came out. All right, so the topic is how can we save our children? And what happened was there was an article that came out in a video about this man, is the Dalai Lama in Tibetan, and how he said to a small boy, he said to the boy to kiss him on the lips, and he kissed him. Then he said to the boy to stick out his tongue so he can suck on his tongue. The topic is how can we protect our children? Because that's considered free game and free range over there where he's at in India. But the point is, they bring that nonsense to our children. Like it's been happening in our own doorstep. And I'm trying to ask for Jose Rivera's 90. Hope I mispronounced your name. But the topic is how are we going to protect our children here in the States? All right. So we have to understand like there is an attack out on our children. Earlier I was talking about like the drag queens going to school. I mean like it's a little something promotion for small children to understand the lifestyle of drag queens, how to understand the lifestyle of the transgender community. And the question should be to them is why the target audience is small children when they can't even make decisions about what food they're going to eat. They can't make decisions about, they don't even know about how to buy a house, how to get a car, how to pay bills. You know, like they don't even know, they can probably even barely spell their whole entire name. You understand? So why they need to understand a certain lifestyle when the schools have them on a certain curriculum and based on like their age or grades, they learn certain subjects based on their learning curve. So if they have a learning curve saying that small children can only learn so much at a certain age, why do they feel the need to add in LGBTQ plus IA alternative lifestyles to the mix when those children don't even be thinking about it? All right. So if we go to the book of Deuteronomy, the 12th chapter, verse 31. And like I said, I'm just gonna bring out just a few scriptures. And I ain't gonna keep y'all long. I know everybody, it's that Monday, everybody had to go back to the job. You know, I gotta watch your language on TikTok. I gotta go back to the job, you know, sluggish after the weekend if you had a good one or an exciting one. So this is the book of Deuteronomy. So it says, this book of Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 31. Thou shalt not do so unto the Lord thy God, for every abomination to the Lord, which he hateth, have they done unto their gods. For even their sons and their daughters, they have burnt in a fire to their gods. So right here it's talking about like when the children of Israel, when they serve other gods, they used to sacrifice their children. All right. They used to sacrifice their children. They used to molest their children, unalive their children for the purpose of their gods. So this is showing you that the children of Israel done it. Like our people has molested their own kinsmen, their own flesh and blood, or their near kinsmen. All right, and it's showing you that like what we done was wrong. And the Most High said, like, you know, we're not supposed to be doing that, like serving other gods. When you get into the realm of wanting to serve other gods and be a part of other cultures, you get to do what those other gods say you can do. And that's why we have to separate. As a matter of fact, with that Dalai Lama cat in East Indian, I should see no more brothers or sisters subscribe to the doctrine of whatever the East Indians subscribe to. There should be no more brothers wearing that orange for the Shaolin Temple or the Buddhists. You know, they might as well just go ahead and separate and retire from that, because let me finish reading the article. Let me reread it. It says, this is an article about it from US Today. It says, while holding the boy's hand, the Dalai Lama points to his mouth and kisses the boy on the lips. People in the background are then heard clapping and laughing. It says the leader then rests his forehead on the boy's forehead before sticking out his tongue, saying, "And suck my tongue." That's in parentheses. Pause. It says the apology. In a statement released Monday, the Office for the Dalai Lama. It's a lot. Maybe y'all can see that. Hopefully y'all can see that. It says Monday, the Office of the Dalai Lama said the spiritual leader regretted his actions. Oh, did he now? His Holiness wishes to. Oh, you can't see it. Salakia. So like I have to bear with me. I'm working on that computer, so that way I can do a split screen. It says His Holiness wishes to apologize to the boy and his family as well as many friends across the world for the hurt his words may have caused. A statement posted on the 87-year-old head Buddhist monk Twitter account reads, His Holiness often teases people he meets in an innocent and playful way. Even in public and before cameras, he regrets the incident. So you're telling me you kiss a boy on the lips and say it was just all good and play, like you gonna stick your tongue out and tell a boy, hey, just you know what I'm saying, just put your lips on this, on his tongue and give him another kiss, give him a French kiss in your East Indian. This is the nonsense that we have to endure because it happened here, right in your own front yard, in your own backyard. Right on your same neighborhood, your same community. Like, we cannot allow that apology. We shouldn't, like, we have to be like, this is what you had to say. And hopefully, this is how you can, like, die down the vibes or the spirit of that molestation. Like, hey, you know what? We cannot accept your apology. We want justice. We want some jail time. You cannot go over here kissing small children and tell them to stick out their tongue, to suck on your tongue, and then say you were just playing. When there's a video of you literally kissing the boy. Do I need to play it? I will. I don't want to, but it seems like I must do this. It seems like I'm going to have to play the video. Let me see if I can find one of them. Oh, shucks. Let me see if I can find it. It is, I bet you, they probably trying to scrub the internet of it. But the Dalai Lama, I'm going to go right onto YouTube and I'm going to show it. You're going to shame me to show it. The Dalai Lama. So, yeah. So I'm going to show it. So that way it can be no more of this, he didn't know. It was an accident. There's no way to say something is an accident when you deliberately kiss a boy on his lips. So give me 1 second while I reconnect to the Apple Play. Go back to the. All right. It didn't. Okay, I'm checking these comments. All right, I see you there, officer over here teaching. Yeah, it is. I should have put in the comments like this is gonna be a hard class. Some of the stuff is just very, very, very disgusting. But we have to talk about it. We have to discuss what happens. I don't want his apology. I want the video. So like, bear with him. I'm gonna get the video. He can keep his apology. And there you go. And this is when I get ready to play this video. You're gonna see. All right, it's playing. So I might. Let me turn this volume up. All right, so I'm gonna play some of it, and you can see this filthy. That's him telling the boy to, and he went up there. Now I'm gonna show you him kissing the boy. All right, that's him kissing the boy. So this is, and I know, excuse me, Salakia, we had to endure this. It's very, very, very disgusting. But this is what's happening. This is what happened over there. And watch. And I don't know if y'all can hear it, but after he kisses the boy, they clap. Like they're clapping. Like you can hear that that's clapping. They're applauding him. You kissing that small child on the lips. Like this is what the world has come to. Like these filthy pieces of garbage. Like these people have to be stopped. You know what I'm saying? Like they have to be stopped. They have to be stopped. Look at them. Just disgusting. All right, that's enough of that. That is enough of that. So like these 50 pieces of garbage, they have to be stopped. Salakia. But if we don't stop them, there's an officer in Mississippi by the name of Tazadakia. So you just go to ISUPK.com, type in Mississippi, and whatever number pops up, that's who made the crown. The name is Tazadakia. All right, so now what I'm going to bring out is, so I brought out one scripture. Let me go to Josh. I got two more scriptures for y'all, and I ain't going to hold y'all too much longer. I'm going to go to Joshua, the 24th chapter, and I'm going to go to verse 20. And we're going to show you how, like, people used to sacrifice for the god of Molech and kill unalive their babies, all because they believe in some other god outside of their own God of Israel. So, like, yeah, let me look for Joshua. Bear with me. So, yeah, ISUPK Mississippi. Just type that in and it'll pull right on up. Where you at, Joshua? I know I passed you. 132. All right, so Salakia, my bad. So if we go to Joshua, we'll go to the book of Joshua, the 24th chapter, verse. We'll start at verse 20. It says, this is the book of Joshua, chapter 24, verse 20. If you forsake the Lord and serve strange gods, then he will turn and you do hurt and consume you after he have done you good. So when we turn away from the Most High, these gods, they consume us up. Like we'll fall to their doctrine. We'll fall to like their way of life. We'll fall to what they see fit. You understand? So we have to understand, like we have to separate ourselves from the earth. We have to separate ourselves. Like nobody cares about what the God of the Bible says to do. The God of Israel. All right, the living God of Israel. So we have to learn how to separate. We have to learn how to keep away certain ideologies, so forth and so on. Let me go to make sure I get them likes up as well. All right, I see some people still watching. Make sure I get them likes up. We'll go to the book of Hebrews, the 12th chapter. We're going to start at verse 5. Hebrews is in the New Testament. All right. So I can. 668. 668. Where you at? That's the life when I get up there with y'all. 668. So we're going to Hebrews 12, 5 through 11. All right. And like I said, we ain't going to keep y'all too long. All right, so what we have here is Salaki. I'll go back to play this video. What we have is what's just on an attack the Lord's chosen people. We have is Salaki. Get off of that. Nashville. Go back to it. All right, so I'm back. So I had a little technical issue, but I'm back popping. So what we have is you have people who apply this type of behavior. It's considered to be widely acceptable. People accept this lifestyle without any hesitation, without any pushback, and everybody want to do is smile and laugh and kiki ha 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 ya, like it's so cute, like it's so adorable. That happened in February. That's according to the article. It just got a little bit mainstream. All right. But here's where I have to start to call a little bit of cap, because it stated that some of these child rights groups had an issue with what was happening. And I have to call a little bit of cap on them, and this is for the reason why. Because I don't hear none of them speaking about this next article I'm about to bring out. And this next article, this is amongst the French. All right. All right. For this Chico 24, you said they don't belong to your family under the expansion that Americans do. Sorry. My question is, who named them to be Native Americans or Mexicans? Because prior to the invaders, they did not call themselves Native Americans or the Mexicans. So to Chico, what were they called then? What were they calling themselves? And as you trying to discover and answer, what were they doing? Like, what holidays, what feast days were they observing? What foods did they eat? What language were they writing down in stones? All right. For Chico, for the Chico guy, there's a book, right? And it's called We Came from the East. You can buy it right on Amazon for like $20. And that is a book about Christopher Columbus, his actual real name and his true religion that he followed, and how he read the Bible and found out where the so-called Native Americans, Hispanics went to. All right. So that's where your true people come from. All right. You can just read that book, and it got all your sources in it, and nobody was able to debunk that book. Not even the White, not even CNN. Nobody was able to debunk this book. It's called We Came from the East. All right. Now, Shalaki. Okay, look. So now, when I brought up the first article, I was talking about with the Dalai Lama and some like the child rights activist groups out there, and I was saying like, how they, they're saying it was wrong and something needs to happen. All right. All right. Now, here's what I call cap a little bit. Man, just a little bit of cap, I'm not here to drill anybody too hard, but I have to call cap when I hear it. Because on the next article I'm about to bring out, they will know where to be found. All right? So it says, this is the AP News. It says, French report 330,000 children victims of church sex abuse. And this article came out a couple of years ago, all right? It says Paris, AP. Victims of abuse within France Catholic Church welcome a historic turning point Tuesday after a new report estimated that 330,000 children in France were sexually abused over the past 70 years. All right. It says, providing a country's first accounting of a worldwide phenomenon. I mean, over 70 years, that's 330,000. Y'all can just do the math for how many children it is a year, or how many that is in a month. You know what I'm saying? 330,000 over 70 years. And they said it was done by the Roman Catholic Church. Now, what did the French do to the Catholic Church? What did the child rights activists say to the Catholic Church or to the Frenchmen molesting small children or those groups over there? Did we hear let's boycott or let's separate or let's do the cancel culture? You understand? So we heard nothing of that. So that's why I say you have to call a cap on some of these organizations. Like they only do it when it makes mainstream and there's a somewhat like cry out. You know, like the media isn't honest anymore. The media does like certain reporting, but they're reporting and like brush underneath the table to the point like it takes somebody to go out and dig and find it. You understand? So it's a lot. That's what happens with the media today. Like no one really reports like what's actually happening. You understand? That's a lot. So we're here to show people like you have to be honest with what's going on. You have to talk about what's really going to happen in order to protect our babies. And if you are outside of the Lord's chosen people, as in a Black, Hispanic, Native American, or the entire 12 tribes of the nation of Israel or the house of Israel, molestation is not just it shouldn't be just hated or disliked amongst the children of Israel. It goes against God's laws. But some other races of people, they dislike it as well. Like they want to protect their children as well. And the title is to save our children, but this is how you protect your children as well. Like we have to put in the laws of the Bible that put hedges around ourselves and how we're supposed to protect and guard ourselves up. Like if we have to, you have to say no. Like if you are a politician or you got some power and rank, maybe it's time to vote against certain alternative lifestyles. Because if you allow a person to change their pronouns, right, to say you're now instead of breastfeeding, it's now chest feeding. Instead of a birthing mother, it's now a birthing parent. You know, if you allow them to say that, what's next to say that this 47-year-old man who's now a her, to say that he's now a smaller her, he's now a little girl? Because if he can say that he's now a little girl, that means by proxy, he can go and play with smaller little girls. He can now say he's now a little boy. He can go and play with little boy. Like you have to look at things what's going to end. Like if you look at some new organization, right, or some new movement, don't look at where the movement's at or the potential. Look at like where does it stop? Like what route are they going? And with the alphabet community, you start off as you see is with the same sex. Then you see they call it the alternative lifestyle. You know, they like to change their gender, you know, change their pronouns. Well within their rights that was granted to them by the military and the Constitution. Fine, whatever. But don't think it stops there. If you can now do the same sex, what's to stop you from doing with an animal? You know, bestiality. That's coming along. What's to stop you from now saying that you are now a birthing parent, and now you want to change your child now? Because they allow, I might break a video, they allow small children to now say they are fluffy animals. I don't know if you heard of that. Hey, also, are you familiar with that video or article where like they say like the little children now say they're like this little fluffy animal? They're not kids anymore. They can change their identity to be a fluffy animal. Let me know if you remember the name of that fluffy animal so I can put it in on this YouTube. But for the meantime, we are told that amongst their rights in America, furries. That is it. That crap is called furries. You know, they now say that the children can call themselves furries, right? They're not kids anymore. They're little furries, and that's what you have to call them. Call them by their correct. I don't know if you call it pronouns now anymore. You know, they changing stuff now. Call them by their correct name. They're not a little boy or little girl. They're not Sandy and little Michael or Billy. No, they're not Mark and Sandra. They're now furry fluffy and fluffy furry. Now, if they allow the children to now change, say they're no longer kids to be furries, and they allow a man to be a birthing parent and chest feeding, who's to say this man can now be a 5-year-old boy, and a little boy, all you gotta do is just pump a few words into him and say you're now a grown man. Now you can say you're 45 with this 45-year-old man. So now, by their ideology, no longer child molestation. You got 2 adults, consensual adults. Do you see the terrible slope that this has created? That goes against God's laws, that goes against a moral compass. You know, that goes against protecting your children. Like, we have to put it in. Like, nobody wants to stop. Nobody wants to put an end to like what goes on against the Lord's chosen people. All right. So let me check in some of these comments. Lock it. Oh yeah. We do need to. Who's this? For the great grace. Yeah, we must protect our children. For the Rob sent, this is called, it's commonly misknown as a star, or we call it a Star of David, but in actuality, that's why they're also saying like a star is a ball of gas, a comet that you see in the sky. This is actually King David's signet, and every king has a signet. This is David's name written in the Hebrew, in the Paleo Hebrew. These two, what you would call, some people call it a triangle. His name, King David's name in Hebrew is Dawadah. These are the 2 Das put together, and he made it his signet, and it became the representation of all of Israel after he united Israel, the northern and southern kingdom, back together. All right. So, but to answer your point, they have dominated the earth, you know, but this is just something they took. You understand? So this is don't just necessarily belongs to them. All right. So now if we go back to these scriptures, we can go to Hebrews, all right? And this will be the last one, the last scripture I bring out. Hebrews chapter 12. We'll start at verse 5, go down to 11. All right. It says Hebrews 12, chapter 5. And ye have forgotten the extortion which speaketh unto you as children. Oh, so like it. My son, despise not the chastisement of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. Verse 6. For whom the Lord loveth, he chastises, and he scourges every son whom he receiveth. If ye endure chastising, God dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chastises not? Meaning, like, the Lord is going to, he's going to test you. He's going to see what you're made of. Like, you got to endure correction. The Lord's going to offer correction to you. He's going to chastise you. He's going to chastise you Like you got to endure to the end. Like he's going to continue to test you. Like, okay, let me take this away, see how it reacts. Okay, let me put this right there, see how it reacts. Will they still serve the Most High? So this is what Hebrews is talking about. Like you have to endure until the end. Let me put this around you. Let's see how he's going to react, or how she's going to react. I'm finna finish reading. Verse 8. But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all the partakers, then ye are bastards and not sons. Verse 9. Furthermore, we have fathers of our flesh, which corrected us, and we gave him reverence. We should not much rather be subjection unto the Father of spirits and live. Verse 10. For verily, for a few days chastising us after their own pleasure, but he for our profit, we might not be partakers of his holiness. Verse 11. Now, no chastising for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterwards it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. So what it's saying is, like, if you don't get chastised or get correction from the Lord, there will always be wickedness in the earth. Like, you have to endure until the end. We have to understand, like, we have to go against what the world say is okay. We got to go against the new DSM. So we're on DSM 5, and like their ideology about what's acceptable for human behavior or human theory. We have to go back and say, we need to go back to what they said in the 60s and 80s about something being a mental illness. Because I'm going to make a TikTok video on this tomorrow. You know, I saw a video of a pro people of that community said that he's now, transgender. He's a now transgender woman. And a man asked the question. He said, well, if you are born a man and you transgender to a woman, and the ambulance called and you respond, and he says, I think I'm having a miscarriage, would you test him for a miscarriage? Would you see what's wrong with having a miscarriage? And the obvious answer was, they know he's not pregnant. Shalom. I digress, but I'll make that video tomorrow. Stay tuned. I also will talk about more about how we can protect our children from all of these monsters. The point is, there is an attack on the Lord's chosen people. There's an attack on our children. There's an attack on womanhood and sisterhood. There's an attack on procreation. There's an attack on separate lifestyles. Like, if someone wants to live their own lifestyle, whatever, let them. But that doesn't mean you have to force it down our children's eyes and our folks in their minds, all right? Salaki, for the good grace. You say it's nations aren't the problem. Demonic spirits of division. Okay. So who's leading the earth then? Is it demonic spirits of division, or is it a certain particular race of people? Because you might be an anomaly amongst your own kinsmen, and you might be the one who might feel sorry, or you might truly want justice, but you does not speak for the entire powers that be. And the powers that be put things in front of our faces that harms, or who does not give justice to the Lord's chosen people. What's a wildly incorrect assertion for the maroon waves? All right, I'm back. What's some of your questions? That's it, officer. Let's see, Doma. I'm just checking some of these comments. Bear with me. All right. All right. So, it's like it. You know, I'm trying to. But in all honesty, like we there's a spirit in the earth that's to answer the other person's comment, the great grace, there is a spirit in the earth, and that spirit, it consumes people by the individuals and by the race. And when we say that, it's meaning to say this. People are going to accept certain wickedness, all right? And they don't have a moral compass, and they don't have the righteous records of the Bible of how to live their life. So you could try to say it's an individual thing, but when you are people who don't have their own country, or you have to live with your oppressors, you're not in a position to say it's not a nation to nation thing, it's a spirit or demonic thing. It is both. It's a nation to nation, and it's a spirit and demonic thing of division. Because we're not all inclusive. Because if everything was all inclusive, then you would see more and more people of hue and a skin complexion inside of these offices. It wouldn't have to be the black delegation. It'll just be of a certain party. It wouldn't have to be all these other people who put in laws. So you have to get it proved to them. Okay. All right, just checking. All right. So we cannot assume that just because you think that it's not going to happen to you, or you think that it only happens in certain countries. No, it happens everywhere. This is now the new, I don't say the new spirit, but this spirit has been around for ages, but it's on a very high rampage. Like the Lord is getting angrier with the wickedness of the earth. That's why you're going to see more and more famine, more and more inflation, more and more pandemics are going to be on the rise. People thinking like, people talking about like the gas prices, right? And the oil. So therefore, you're seeing a rise with electric cars. Well, the Most High be like, okay, well, you don't want to use gas? No sweat. I just shut off the power then. He'll just hit the plants. You can't charge up anything. So he'll put you back on the Stone Age for a brief time if you wanted to. The point I'm proving is that it's not a spirit or demonic thing. This is a heathen thing. This is a Israel taking on other gods things. This is, we need to protect our children from monsters thing. And when you accept that alternative lifestyle, you cannot take one without taking all of it. Because if you notice, the LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, all of those, essentially someone might say it's the same, but all of those are different ones. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. And if you notice, they don't stop. It's LGBTIA+. I forget what the I and A stand for, but I heard that I and A+, and they added Z in there as well. LGBT, it's a Q in there. I mean, my God. My point I'm making is there's no stopping with the alphabets, right? They're going to keep adding flags. They're going to keep adding letters and acronyms, all right? Abbreviations to mean something else. And now that you added the T to that, and people are now able to change their pronouns, there's nothing stopping them from changing, say, and now they said to church they can call themselves fluffies. Maybe I'll try to play that for y'all real quick before we get out of here. Children calling themselves fluffy. All right. Kids calling, was it flurries? Oh, shucks. What did it call it? Is it fluffies or flurries? Children call themselves flurries. Yeah, so children. in class flurries. But yeah, so there we go. And I'm gonna play this. Maybe it's loud enough. Let's see. And they're saying you gotta address children by this. All right. Soon to play connected to it. Come on. Bear with me, waiting on this internet. So the point is,
and I was stunned. And today, put my brain around this a little bit, but
let's
yesterday I heard something.
All right, bear with me.
And I was stunned. And today I am equally stunned and a little bit upset. Well, not a little bit, a lot of it upset, furious. I wouldn't even use that word, but I want to talk about the fact that, and I know this is going on nationwide, so it is not just for this board, but our community needs to understand that the agenda that is being pushed to our
right here.
schools
I'm playing the video.
Just my opinion, but somewhat nefarious when it comes to
About kids having to be called
activities. So let's talk about furries.
Furries.
It was addressed by a child a couple months ago.
And now they're empowering children to now say
that identify as a furry.
You can identify as a furry.
And so yesterday I heard that at least one of our schools in our town has in one of the unisex bathrooms a litter box for the kids that identify as cats. And I am really disturbed by that.
The woman is saying that inside the school of her child attends, they have a restroom for little boys, a restroom for little girls, and a restroom for such said boy or girl who now identify as a cat, and there is a litter box there. I kid you not. Children can now be referred to as furries now. Now, what does this have to do with protecting our children? One, your child's not a furry. You're not you're not a furry mother, and you're not a furry dad, and you don't give birth to furries, right? But the point is, if they allow your child to change their identity from small boy, small girl to now an animal, right? And you can now change your pronouns. What's to stop such said small boy or small child now saying they are an adult? And what's to say an adult can now say he's not a child? Do y'all see where I'm going with this? To make such said what the Dalai Lama did with that suck on his tongue and kissing the little boy on his lip, now make it consensual. Now they'll be doing it right in the schools or right after school. Now it won't be no such thing as, an unauthorized parent to pick up your child. It's now, this is their boyfriend or girlfriend or their significant other. Like, this is the type of evil you have to look out for. And if there's no outrage to stop it, which is it's damn near too late, you let them get away with half of it. The moment you let the first letter of that acronym come out, of the LGBTQZIA plus community, all right? So we have to, I'm gonna finish playing some more of this disgusting video. Just listen up.
And I will do some more investigation on that. I know what's going on nationwide. I know it is. It's part of the agenda that's being pushed. I don't even want to understand it. But I think that people need to be aware of it, because I am really upset as a parent that my child is put in an environment like that. And I'm all for creativity and imagination, but when someone lives in a fantasy world and expects other people to go along with it, I have a problem with that. So I'm just putting that out there. I will investigate more. This whole furry thing has just got me, I'm staying calm, but I'm not happy about it, and it's happened on your watch.
All right, so that's just enough on that. Y'all get the point. If need be, just go to your YouTube and type in furries. All right, and now that's the movement. Long story short, child molestation is unlawful. You know, you get that from serving other guys, sacrificing to other guys, or sacrificing your child, and it is unlawful. We are not to do it. We are to stay away. We are to separate. And any evil that comes upon you or your children, you are to seek counsel. You are to seek what's well within the laws. The laws change. They used to change every year. Now they're changing every day because you now got this fantasy land of people of identifying as something else. So if you want to protect your children, like we got to mind ourselves about what's acceptable. We gotta keep in mind that we have to look into who's teaching our children, who are their friends. We have to now start screening what they watch on TV, so forth and so on. Because if we don't, we're going to continue to have this type of wickedness. All right. So this will conclude the class. So how can we save? How can Israel save his children? We got to separate from the alternative lifestyles altogether. That's how you save your children. If it's an alternative lifestyle, you have to be against it 100%. That's how you save your children. You have to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. You have to understand that child molestation is wicked. And if anybody that agree with it, you have to just distance yourself from them as well. Now, granted, I know that we have teachers and they might be good at it, and your kids go to school. Well, we might need to have a sit down with them like, hey, when it comes to this child, this is the lifestyle I want them to live. Every parent has the right to say or decide, like, hey, this is what I want my child to be. I want them to be like this. Like every parent, all parents, usually good parents, have like visions of what they want their child to be. They might not necessarily pick. Sometimes they do pick. They might say, hey, amongst our community, we got a lot of nail technicians, but I need you to be a doctor. They take this test. If you're smart enough, you're going to become a doctor because our people need a doctor. I agree with that to a point to build up your race. But the point is, I'm bringing is we have to, every parent usually knows what their child is going to be, or they have an idea what they want them to be. And it's usually always something about being successful. You train up a child the way to go, and they should not depart from thee. That's in the book of Proverbs. Yeah, so that's in Proverbs, I think 22:6. Let me see if it's it. Maybe I get that one last scripture for y'all before I let y'all go. I know I said the last one was the last one, but this one might be the last if I think of it right. Proverbs 22:6. I think it's train up a child the way they should go, and they should not depart from thee. Like we got to protect our children at all costs. Yeah, so this is the book of Proverbs. This is chapter 22, verse 6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, and and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So train up your child the way they're supposed to live their life. And if you're a good parent, and they'll listen to you. Oh, Salaki says, my bad. I was reading Isaiah or something. My bad, since I ain't even pay attention to this part of the chat comment section. Salakia. I was answering somebody's question. It was Isaiah the 46th chapter. I had to go back and read it. It was like Isaiah 46, I think in 6. Salakia about that, princess. All right, but train up a child, how to save Israel's children. Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child the way they should go, they should not depart from them. We gotta understand, like, we cannot sacrifice our children to other gods, other powers that be, other philosophies, other doctrines, other Dalai Lamas that like to kiss boys on the lips and then apologize. Like, we can't accept that. Like, some things we should know now. They don't want us to be so forgiving. Like, you have to learn how to forgive when it comes to the Lord. But for the sake of this, so our people don't go back to the forgiveness of Christianity, we got to say like this: we will no longer accept any sorrows. No more apologies. We're not accepting them. And if you don't ask for forgiveness, you ain't getting it. And if we do forgive you, we're still not dealing with you. Like, you will be forgotten. Like, it should be you can't kiss a boy on his lips and say something in your tongue and he get to say that he was apologizing. No, you cannot. You're done with us forever, and everything to support you. Like, we got to be stingy and angry with our separation. We got to be stingy and angry with alternative lifestyles. With the powers that be, that wrote the DSM-4 and the DSM-5. We need to figure out who these people are, because they are the ones who are birthing this mess that we see. They're the ones that allow or give our children the power to not say you are a fluffy, to now say you can change your pronouns, to now say that you are now a little boy, or you're now a little cat, you're now some fairy tale fantasy. Like, we have to separate ourselves from them. And when they say sorry, we cannot accept it. It should be, we're done with you forever until we can rid the earth of such said nonsense. Or at least let them have their own country and they live over there and we be where we be at. Give them Antarctica. Let them go live over there. Give them some island along the equator or something. You know what I'm saying, in the ocean. Like, we have to separate ourselves. Like, we have to protect our children. And when you accept the alternative lifestyle, you accept destruction to your child, because there's nothing stopping them from coming to our children now. It's in our schools, it's in our daycares, it's outside, it's at the store, it's at religious meetings with the Dalai Lama. All of it happens, and we can, like I said, can't accept sorries. No more sorries. All right. So if you want to protect your children, you got to, one, be against the alternative lifestyle, because that's how you protect them, because they said it's acceptable. It's not just the alternative lifestyle. It's another organization, I believe it's called NAMBLA. I think I said it earlier, the North American Association for Man and Boy Love. You got to be against that. All right. You got to train up your children. You got to say, hey, look, these are the do's and the don'ts. You were born with XX chromosome, you're a little girl. You was born with XY chromosome, you're a boy, whatever. And I want you to go out and be fruitful and to multiply and get yourself a good wife or wives. Tell your daughters, like, hey, I want you to stay within your race. Get yourself a good husband. As a matter of fact, as you pick him out, I'm going to help you choose the right one. Show me who you're considering, and I'll let you know if I approve of him or not. Like, we have to train up our children the way they should go. You understand? And no more sorries. No more apologizing. No, we're not sorry. You can keep your sorry. Like, if I'm that parent, I don't know how I can restrain myself. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't. There's no way you're gonna, Lord have mercy. I don't even want to think of nothing like that. Like, that's an utterly, like, disgusting and very, very upsetting and hard to watch. It's so disgusting. You understand that people even laugh. Like, you got to get the ones who laughing. Like, if they ain't against it, there's this little saying, it's a little small saying. It's like you're either with me or you're against me. I just say, I up the ante. You either with us or you're against us, or you're in the way. Ain't no you being neutral now. There's no more neutral. You got to pick a side now. Do you want to protect your children? Yes or no? And if the answer is yes, you know what you have to distance yourself from. You understand? And we no more sorries. We're not accepting any sorries. If they ask for forgiveness, we can forgive you, but you must be forgotten. You must be forbidden. Like, we never forget the offense you made, but you must be forbidden. Now, we cannot deal with you anymore. Now, you're the monster that said you a child now, and you want to kiss lips and suck on tongues. Like, no, you stay the hell away from all of our children. You understand? Like, you stay away and you go over there. You understand? But all right, so this is going to conclude the class. I'm Priest and Officer DeRocket. This is the Monday Night History class. Also, I've been breaking out some more breakdowns. I know I got to do the 12 tribes, Cinco de Mayo, Daniel chapter 7 and chapter 10. Take care of all that or whatnot. I'm trying to think of any other announcements I might have to make. But this will conclude the class. And if you are so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, I would say Yahweh Bashin Yahshua Barakatah to all the brothers. Yahweh Shemal Atah Bashin Yahshua to all the sisters. All right? It's been my time. Israel Shalom. All right, TikTok. Select, let me get on in here.
Trap exempt.
Dear Lord, I hope you hear my prayers.
Because we really, really need you down here.
From all the pain that we going through. We know that you're real, so can you fall through? Father, have mercy when we call on you.
How far you say you? About 5 minutes.
I raise my children up to say the same shit. Dear Lord, I hope you hear my prayers. Because we really, really need you down here. From all the pain that we going through. We know that you're real, so can you fall through? Father, have mercy when we call on you. But I just wanna fall on you. To show the devils you ain't nothing to play with. I raise my children up to say the same shit.
Yeah. Go ahead. Come on, West. Go ahead. Go ahead. Rocking this shit, man. Go ahead. Look, I keep it low to the T. UPK play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother way. Tell him get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Nigga, come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. Man, this shit is too easy. I'm on gold, but they don't believe me. You know I'm winning with the team. Screaming Vinny, 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 Vigi. Hear them devils screaming out bloody murder. I'm about to close the curtain. Mama grind, bitch, and work. Sorry, all them lies, it ain't working. Them niggas weak, cause they be churching. I'm a West nigga, that's for certain. If he cross the line, I'ma back up and I'ma hit his ass with this virus. And I come through 300 strong, 144 Leonidas. All my niggas, we eat. I'm in this bitch with the Ivys. Say, all y'all do the street. Tell y'all to do the street. If a nigga made the wrong move, he make his ass out the league. He ain't one of us hit the league. He ain't one of us here preach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Go ahead. Look, I keep it low to the T. UPK play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother wave. Tell him get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Nigga, come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat.
You see this look that's on my face, bitch? I'm for real with it. I hit the streets, put on my cleats, was in the field with it. You soft as cotton, just an actor, Uncle Phil with it. And then my target's on the move, but I can still hit it. Hey, I speak true cause it's necessary. Gullah Jack revolutionary. Cold on them like January. Commander General is a visionary. Soul food, no sweets. Your preacher man, he's sweet. Matter of fact, he weak. It's wartime for peace. Think you hard, nigga, you ain't. Fuck with us, nigga, you can't. You smart cars, we pace. We form up in ranks. We body bag this rap shit. All black, no bright shit. Real life, no cap, bitch. Fall on them, that's cap shit.
I keep it low to the T. UPK play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother wave. Tell him get the fuck off the beach. I'm